Hey guys, I'm Ryan Wright.
And I'm Jerry.
We just came back from watching The Visit.
That's right.
Yep, The Visit, about two kids who go to see their grandparents they've never met before. Stay a week with them. Could things go wrong? Who knows? It's M. Night Shyamalan's movie. Probably. We're critics. Anyway, I had a total blast watching this film. I thought it was so much fun. It had an incredible sense of humor within the characters that made an overall tone of the film. Like, it had its moments of fear, it had its spooky jump scares and whatnot, and those creepy images, but it always followed it up with kind of making fun of it or making a joke about it and stuff.
Well, yeah, and from the second I saw the trailer, I thought to myself, like, this is the kind of movie that can only work if they decide to kind of go weird with it, like, you know, have a lot of humor, but also have some stuff that's genuinely, you know, strange and unsettling. And the movie does that, and I think that's, you know, it's a smart choice.
These cats are so distracting.
So fucking distracting.
You should see what these cats can do, man.
We have like a sound wall here, and they're scaling the top of it, and since it's like fuzzy.
I really got to credit M. Night Shyamalan here, because he knew how to make a found footage movie actually feel kind of refreshing in a way. I wasn't sitting there like, oh my god, another found footage movie with the same found footage tricks. There are some similar ones, but he knew how to make a good one, though. I
guess it helps that you have this conceit of, like, these kids are sort of making an amateur documentary. Like, that does kind of help to fill in a lot of the gaps stylistically of found footage, and so then you can cheat and you can have things like, oh, an establishing shot, how nice.
Yeah.
Like, oh, some actual moody footage.
I like how M. Night Shyamalan, with his script for the girl, for Becca, how she had this, like, total filmography kind of dialogue the whole time. And at times it kind of pulled me out, kind of like, okay, she doesn't sound like her age at all right there.
Well, that's the thing, is it, for this whole movie, kind of, it was like, or not for the whole movie, but it took me a while to kind of latch onto what they were doing with the kids as characters, because at first it's like, okay, they both have a really distinct character trait. She's all, like, artsy and into film, and he's, you know, a wannabe rapper. Like,
I love that.
They're quirky, but then as the movie goes on and it establishes its sense of humor, like, it makes sense for them to be quirky a little bit, and then it also, again, helps us with the visuals, because, you know, because she's so kind of art house about things, we do get some nice breaks from found footage norm and some tripods.
And there's some satire, and there's some, like, on the nose humor, like when she's trying to get certain moods, or she's like, oh wait, that looks very organic, let it happen, you know, shit like that.
It's almost meta, because they're acknowledging the fact that they're adding these things that are nice to have in non-found footage movies just to break up the pace and give us a little variety. And you don't get those usually.
And I like when they include
found footage, because
then you got two cameras pretty early on in the movie with the boy.
Yeah.
And I love that kid. What's his name? Ed Oxenbolt. What a fucking name. Oxenbolt?
You mean T. Diamond Stylus?
He plays Tyler, and the guy,
the little brother.
The little brother. Man, you cats need to chill the fuck out. It ain't a goddamn jungle.
We should have a camera on them.
It ain't a goddamn
for
jungle
this,
in here.
You know, cutaway.
It ain't a goddamn jungle in here, Todd and Copper. That kid, he rocked this movie. Like,
he did, and I thought I was gonna hate him.
And so did I. I thought I was like, oh, he's gonna be that annoying twat in this film.
He's gonna be the annoying one who doesn't ever shut up, and she's gonna be like the too smart to be 15.
Who's always annoyed at her brother. But they had a rather interesting dynamic the whole time. I was drawn to their brother and sister relationship. These two clearly loved and cared about each other, and there was a bond they had. It wasn't like, I hate you because you're gross or some stupid shit.
Well, yeah, they actually allowed them to sort of, you know, behave like a real brother and sister might, because, you know, it's easy to kind of boil those down to like, they hate each other, but a lot of the time, you know, they're just kind of in the situation together, and, you know, they get along fine until, like, you know, he starts annoying her at some point.
Yeah.
But, you know, it was very natural.
So funny.
We got a lot of both of those
People
moments.
were clapping at his jokes in that theater, man. There was some great shit he had.
Yeah, I mean, the movie, it's like, it's weird. Like, at first you're like, ooh, I don't know, and then the movie just commits to who the characters are and commits to the humor that they bring out, and it starts to work.
It's kind of like a toned-down funhouse movie to me. Because even with the grandparent stuff, like, we haven't even covered that at all. The grandparent stuff, there are moments where it's genuinely eerie and genuinely creepy, scary.
Yeah.
But then they also knew how to make a sense of humor about it. Like, the movie wasn't unaware that this is kind of a silly premise.
Yeah,
you know?
the movie has a good amount of awareness. And then, by using humor, it also kind of eases you into the more, heightened parts of Shyamalan's ideas. And it also just eases you into everything. Because it's hard to play stuff like this that's so willfully strange and unsettling, and the tone of this movie really supports that. It really helps that.
I gotta say, I'm not the biggest fan of jump scares, but I enjoyed the jump scares in this film because they were so fun when they occurred. I can think of one very particularly good one where, I'm not gonna give it away, but I remember thinking, okay, a jump scare's coming right here. Okay. And then you start thinking of all the possible ways of how it's gonna come. But then it came in the one way I did not suspect it, but it was the most brilliant way. But yeah, no, there's some great jump scares in there, and it was just a fun fucking movie, and everyone did a good job in their acting. There was good character moments too. It wasn't M. Night Shyamalan trying too hard to be moving and stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing, is there are a couple moments they put in, in the middle of the movie that give the characters just enough weight and just enough of an arc and a reason to explain it, but it also keeps them really upbeat and fun and all that.
And I liked how when there was two of them doing the documentary stuff, you got the one from the girl who's very, very observant and very into this, and then you got the kid, the boy, who's kind of just treats it like a joke,
Well, and he also, it's good because then we get 2 points of view on the camera, exactly. So he sneaks off. It's like, she can go find us out information about the grandparents because, she's working on this documentary, and we get exposition in a very sly way.
Yeah.
And he just wants to go figure out this fucking mystery after a while because he's more weirded out than she is. So he's going to go off and get us our action. And it's kind of, it works.
And I gotta say, the film knows how to mislead you in a very smart way. A lot of the times you think something's going to happen, it doesn't. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you don't suspect something, and then it happens. There's some good surprises in there. There's particularly one moment in the finale that I know a lot of people are going to be talking about. It's the one gross part of the finale. That's all I'm going to say.
There's some gross stuff.
Yeah, but it's the grossest part of the finale. You'll know what it is when you see it.
Probably.
And I know there'll be a debate, but there were some people who were clapping when it happened.
It's a clap-worthy moment.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have kept it.
Yeah, I just think M. Night Shyamalan had so much fun with this movie. I feel like he didn't take himself so fucking seriously like he tends to. Mm-hmm. Because his movies are so serious sometimes, and it bothers me, but this one was fun.
Well, that's what's nice about found footage and the fact that he's at Blumhouse is they take people who kind of could use a redemption in the eye of cinema, and also it's found footage forces you to get away from some of the stylistic gimmicks you're used to, so it's he can't draw things out and make them plotting. He kind of has to stick to it's real, ish. So I feel like found footage is a great place to see what a director's capable of when their tropes are gone,
One last thing I gotta say about this movie is when it had moments, because every found footage movie has those moments where you're like, really, would they fucking be recording right now?
Yeah.
Or, come on, the camera would have so fucking died right now.
Yeah.
Shit like that. I have that camera, I know what would happen in 20 minutes from now. I will say it was one of the least distracting movies to do it.
Yeah, it's I was more interested, because of the tone and because of the bits of story they were giving us, I was more interested in that than the ingenuity of the, technique after a while. And that's a good thing. It's
sometimes he mixes it up with some, it's is this part of the documentary where they're showing cool shots of the sky and the trees and stuff? And, at times music would play.
Yeah, it's it has blemishes and things like that here and there where you're it doesn't fully alleviate all those problems. It's sometimes you're where did that shot come from? I can kind of take an educated guess, but... Yeah. Or why would they still be filming this? Or certain things like that. It's not that they're not there, but yeah, a lot of the time it does a pretty good job of at least making it believable.
Absolutely.
A lot of the time.
I had a great time. People apparently can't comprehend a review unless there's a rating system. Some people are you need a rating system.
I mean, generally positive. It's got some missteps here and there, but it's generally positive.
I say it got 5 left testicles.
Out of 5? 5 out of 5?
5 out of 5.
Wow, that's high praise.
Yeah, on the left testicle. That's the dominant one.
I mean, out of 5, I don't know, 3.5, maybe 4. I enjoyed myself.
Well, these are testicles we're talking about. If we're talking about, rhinestones, it's 3 out of 5.
I would love to see a breakdown of your rating system.
My rating systems are very well thought out, Jared.
It's good. Go see it. Like, it's not
It's
entirely
a fun
perfect.
theater time, man.
Yeah, it's not entirely perfect, but it's got enough, horror movie stuff, and it's got enough, fun personality and quirkiness that kind of transcends all the, little mistakes here and there.
And it's a fun movie to go with black people.
Anybody who's responsive to the screen, really, if that's what
I know, but we had the black crowd.
Not predominantly, I don't think.
Yeah, in the rows behind us, the ones who were screaming, the ones who were making people laugh.
Did you look, or are you just making a generalization?
A, she sounded black. B, I turned around, and yes, in fact, she was of African American descent.
Okay.
Yeah, and she was hollering and everything.
Everybody in that theater seemed to be hollering at some point. Hell, I was pretty audible during this movie, actually.
Yeah. But I'm saying that black people will really bring you in.
This is the kind of movie where for the first half hour you're going to be laughing at things because you're like, this movie. And then after that point, you actually start to laugh with the movie.
Yeah.
And that's usually a good thing.
Yeah. At first it was like, this is kind of off.
Like, this is kind of weird.
Because especially when you know Shyamalan, because you're like, okay, there's humor now, but it's about to get dead serious. It doesn't do that, man.
See, this is the thing. This is clearly from the guy who thought up The Happening.
Yeah.
But it's a much better version of that scenario.
Absolutely.
It's like, this is kind of a weird premise, but it could work, and then it worked. You can see how there might be the same dude with those concepts, but he's improved.
Absolutely.
He's a step in the right direction.
M. Night Shyamalan, you have reinstilled faith. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning into the channel. If you're new to it, you can subscribe to The Real Rejects. You can check out Reasons to Jerry and Dank Ass Stubs, both shows hosted by none other than the Jer Bear. And you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Vine, Periscope. And maybe one day we'll get a Snapchat. But the last time I got a Snapchat, this girl sent me her tits, and then it was like, oh.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah, and then I
Snapchat,
screenshotted it, and then I used it against her, saying, like, you fuck with me one more time, bitch, I'm gonna fucking release this photo of you. You understand, bitch? And then she was like,
this is...
Yeah, no. And then I put my foot down. I said,
threat.
I said, girl, don't make me put my foot up your ass.
That's threatening.
Well, man, some fans need to be put in their place.
This is terrible. This is making you sound like a monster.
No, these are sluts. It's okay to talk. They like being talked to that way.
We are not going to have the slut-shaming conversation right now.
I'm kidding. Sluts are people too.
Oh.